That would have just been another added stress. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley if you're new here. As you read by today's title, we're going to be talking all things senior year of college. If you are a senior in high school, go ahead and pause this video, add to your save for later. Go ahead and check out my college bound as well as my back to high school advice series that I did 4 years ago when I was exiting high school, because I have some tips geared towards more of you as a high school senior, because it's a little bit different than a college senior. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into today's video. So by now you probably know the drill, as this will be our final back to college series video, ending it off obviously with senior year. Last week I went ahead and tried that very delicious frozen strawberry acai refresher. Once again, it's a very hot day, so I decided to go by Panera earlier today and got their charged lemonade, and it is the strawberry lemon mint flavor. It's a very unique taste, but I had something a lot like this when we went to Urban Plates back in La Jolla. Let's go ahead and end my babbling off and get started in these tips. Tip number one is probably the most obvious of today's list, is to go ahead and start applying for either grad schools or your post-grad job. If you can apply in the fall, go ahead and do it. I know it might seem very early on in your semester or very early on in your senior year to be even thinking about your post-grad plans. Go ahead and think about them if you're going to be taking the grad school route. The same types of things that you were thinking about back in high school as a senior, figuring out your college exams, same things kind of apply here with post-grad and your post-grad plans, figuring out if you're going to be going to grad school and what you need to do in preparation for that, as well as if you want to get a career, start applying sooner rather than later. The next thing I personally learned from and didn't do myself but wish I had done is schedule and find and secure a grad photo photographer early on. I would suggest even the semester before you're going to graduate. And I know this again might seem a little overboard, but you would be surprised how quickly grad photographers fill up and their slots fill up throughout the semester, and you might end up being stuck with having to take your grad photos after graduation, and you don't want to end up in a situation like that. So I suggest going ahead and figuring out who you want to work with, reaching out to them, seeing if you can book a session. It'll be one less thing for you to worry about that final semester. So go ahead and secure that photographer if you decide to do something like that earlier and sooner rather than later. I suggest reaching out to anybody that you know and asking them who they used. I'll link down below the information for the photographers that I use for my grad photos if you're interested in using them. Another thing you want to make sure you do your senior year is to invest in some professional attire, professional wear, because this year you're likely to have more presentations, networking, and obviously interviews if you're interviewing for grad schools or post-grad jobs. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a good like professional workwear wardrobe when you need it. And I can't imagine if I didn't already have some professional workwear ready to go for my presentations. And the great thing is you don't have to have a complete wardrobe of this. This could be a nice blouse, a pair of slacks, some nice workwear shoes, maybe a nice dress, a nice blazer, a nice collared button up, you know, very simple basic things that you can also then thereafter wear beyond college. I would also suggest checking out your career center, because a lot of times they might have places where you can swap out clothes, find donated clothes or used clothes that are also still great quality but a little bit more affordable, because you know times are tough around here. There was just honestly options if you need them, but that's something that I think a lot of people don't think about, is there's a lot of times you have to wear professional wear in your courses. Go ahead and find it earlier on versus being like a week or two before, because that always ends up being the time where your clothing doesn't fit or something gets stained or the shipment doesn't come in time. You don't want to end up in those situations. Next thing is to lean into collaborating with your classmates, and GroupMe once again is your friend. You're probably gonna have more presentations and projects than you ever did before as you get into some of your higher level classes and some of your capstones where you're presenting things to professors. Maybe you're presenting research. I suggest that you get comfortable and get used to being in group settings and using things like GroupMe to be able to communicate and give updates and figure out roles and projects and who's going to do what and confirming. You need to have some means of communication that's consistent across everybody, and GroupMe is a great place to start. So if you don't have GroupMe already, if you've made it this far in college without one, I suggest you consider downloading it and then suggesting, hey, I'll make the GroupMe for the group, and that way we can communicate when we're going to hop on Zoom and discuss this, or figure out when we're going to meet on campus to practice our presentation. Simple things like that. I'm so glad that I had GroupMe, because we were able to vote on different things. We were able to send like files and documents like, hey, did you see that the rubric has X, Y, and Z? We don't want to forget that in our presentation so we don't miss points. But whatever works for you and your group, go ahead and do it, but just be open-minded and aware that you're probably going to have more group work and more group projects that require you to collaborate and less individual work as you get higher up in your, college classes. And the last and final piece of advice I have for you seniors is to attend and soak up all the final senior weird little events, whether it be like senior week, final homecoming, just different things that are being offered at your campus that you might have not been attending for the past few years, because those are the last and final times you'll be able to attend those different things as a student. Attend as much as you can or as much as you're interested in. It was just so great to like hang out with my friends and soak up some of those final like college days. Something fun to do, and most times those events are free of charge, so why not take advantage of them? You're already paying for it, probably in some kind of like student life fee. So guys, that was my final piece of advice for you seniors, and also the final piece of advice I have for this Back to College series. Hopefully you enjoy not only today's video, but the entirety of the series. As I mentioned in the sophomore year video, this is probably going to wrap up a lot of my college advice videos. I may sprinkle some stuff here or there as I think about it, but a lot of my content is not going to be pivoting a lot more into the lifestyle direction. But until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye guys!